Baltimore. And my special guest, I'm really excited, is Dr. Joanne Martin. She really spent the time to get that good education, and she's willing to share what she knows. And she's going to talk about the Docent program and some information about a wonderful man who's no longer with us, Congressman Elijah E. Cummings. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. More Eye on Baltimore. Welcome, Dr. Joanne Martin. It's just an honor and a pleasure for me to be here with you. You mentioned a term that I'd like you to explain, defying gravity, and you used it in relationship to your Docent program. Talk to me about that.
Well, more than anything else, it has to do with the faith that I have in the children that we attract to our program. We've been doing our tour guide training program with mainly with YouthWorks, Baltimore City YouthWorks, for over 15 years. And each year I have these children who come into our program not knowing what to expect and not expecting what we want them to expect eventually. I hear year after year, this is just like school when they come into our program, which I still don't understand because you signed up to be a tour guide and to be trained to be a tour guide. So the notion that you're going to make the history up as you go along, or that you don't have to read and study, is still something I don't understand. I accept that I'm going to hear it year after year. But the defying gravity part of it is that we select children for this program based on their desire to be in the program, or based on their desire to make YouthWorks money and choose this as simply a means for that, and not necessarily wanting to be a tour guide. It sounds interesting. I don't know what it involves. So that's one thing. I don't try to profile the kids and decide who would make a good tour guide, because first off, I don't know them. But second, I believe if we do our job right, we can give them that enthusiasm, that desire to be all that being a tour guide involves. And so defying gravity for me means that sometimes we have in our program kids who are maybe one moment away from dropping out of school, maybe one moment from being pulled into the criminal justice system, and I use the word justice very loosely. Children who have any number of challenges. But I hear those children at the end of our program come to me and say, I met a group of people from Minnesota today. I hear them talk about how much they've learned. I hear them ask, why aren't they teaching us this in school? And for me, they defy gravity because there are any number of people who would have written them off, who would never have even consider them to be involved in a tour guide training program, to be tour guides, to be standing before people that they don't know and enthusiastically giving them information about the history of people of African descent. That's defying gravity for me, because there are so many unexpected rewards and so many glorifying challenges that they overcome day after day, defying gravity day after day.
You mentioned to me that you worked at Coppin, and there were young people there who would not accept the blessings of opportunity, but you're getting these young people ready to do that. What advice do you have for students when they have an opportunity?
That you take that opportunity. I grew up in the segregated South, where there weren't opportunities given to me by people who decided that segregation was something that I should live under. But it was given to me by my parents. My father, with his 5th grade education, gave me an appreciation of reading, because he read all the time from the pages of Popular Mechanics. My mother spent much of her life trying to go back to school in the midst of raising a family and all of the challenges that come from trying to make a living, going back to school to get her GED. The school, the church, the community were one and the same. This notion that kids can get to a certain, ready to graduate, and it's discovered by parents and teachers and whatever that the child can't read. Our minister and the people in our church knew that we couldn't read when we couldn't read the verse in the Bible. So all of those opportunities that came from being surrounded by people who cared, by people who believed in you, by people who made you believe in yourself, by people who made it clear that they would accept no less than excellence from you. And so I say to any kid living in this world today that when an opportunity is provided, someone is saying, I believe in you. Someone is saying, I will accept no less than the best from you. And someone who is saying that it's not just about what I can do to help you develop, because it's about knowing that if I help you to develop, then the children unborn
All right.
get a chance.
I love it. 10 years from now, where do you want the Docent program to be?
I want it still to be. I want there to be opportunities throughout this city to not just have these kids go through a docent training program, but have them hired by other museums in this city. I want those children to see this as a stepping stone to something else in the tourism industry. Tourism is a major driver of economies throughout this nation, and so many of our children are left out simply because it's not opened up to them as a possibility. And so the notion that they can explore, that we will open up and motivate them to explore what do we mean by tourism and what opportunities are there for me and what is global tourism and all of those things that if we don't expose them to programs like this, if we don't let them understand the whole length and breadth of those opportunities, then we cut them off of something that is driving economies all over this world.
All right, well, let's recruit some docents. Give us your commercial for recruiting docents.
Well, you certainly can be involved in the Great Blacks and Wax Docent Training Program. You can call the museum and you can connect with us through YouthWorks. That's where most of our docents start. We expanded. So this year we did we taught our, and I keep saying kids, I'll try to say youth and young people. I know they don't want me calling them kids, but our young people, we taught them to do a motor coach tour. So they those people out there listening can see that this is something that's rewarding and a fun-filled learning opportunity and a pathway to a career.
All right, and you had some results. Some of the young people have decided to become rappers. Some others are really interested in writing.
Yes, and one of the things that we're going to do, a program that we will be starting when we go into year 2 of the Baltimore Children and Youth Fund grant, is that we're going to be teaching them all of the different ways that we tell our stories. And they're going to learn to curate an exhibit based on one of the stories that is important to who they are and who we are as a people of African descent.
That's right, because African Americans have an oral history that very seldom gets recorded accurately because we don't record it. Others do it for us. But we're trying to preserve that tradition of African storytelling here.
Exactly. We partner in a number of our programs with the Griot Circle of Maryland, the National Association of Black Storytellers, and we have the wax figure of Mary Carter Smith, who was the founder of that organization. And we do work on helping our kids to learn storytelling, donning characters, presenting themselves in third person as Shirley Chisholm and so forth. And this year, one of the things that we plan to do in our new program is to talk about how we use magic in the telling.
I'd like to help with that.
I'm sure you would. So, again, a number of opportunities through the programs that we offer at the museum.
All right. And what has been the highlight of the program so far?
Well, seeing these kids and their evolution, that they learn the history, that they stand there with poise and present the information to people. Having Makai, who I challenged to do a strange fruit inspired rap. We went to the Billie Holiday statue and monument in West Baltimore. We stopped at the monument and I talked to the kids about strange fruit, with words like southern trees bear a strange fruit, blood on the leaves and blood out at the roots. And because Makai had expressed an interest in being a rap artist, he talked about selecting our program because he thought it would help him to be more poised and confident speaking before a group of people, and that's what's required of a tour guide. And so after going to the Billie Holiday statue, then I challenged him to do a rap-inspired, strange fruit-inspired rap. And the next week he came in and announced to Loretta Gubernardis, our videographer, that that's what he had done.
Oh, well, I think we have a clip of that. Let's take a look.
Lemonade iced tea, lemonade iced tea, lemonade iced tea, lemonade iced, lemonade iced tea, lemonade iced tea, lemonade iced tea, lemonade iced. Listen. The sweep up out of history, knowledge and point of view. And the sour ain't no mystery, the child that they went through. 13 hours round the neck of people that look like me and you. From a bird's eye view, you notice that's some strange fruit. Hanging from the poplar tree, smell of burning flesh in the breeze. Buds and eyes, twisted mouth, close your eyes and picture me. And the Volvo at 60, rolling down the AVE. Long live the voice of the city, it's forever, rest in peace. Billie Holiday statue. One day the marquee, hit the left on the dolphin, right on that corner, that's all. Now we're left on division with 30 Marshall was living, 1632. Again, the same southern trees, been some strange fruit. On the leaves and at the root, it's blood. Can't change the past, so I rap about what it was. Bittersweet lemonade iced tea in my cup. Black bodies for the rain, gather and the wind is up. I'm trying to inspire the youngest cause they look up to us. I wrote this song, I ain't freestyling, this ain't off the top. Them trials and tribulations made a stranger better cry. Lemonade iced tea, lemonade iced tea, lemonade iced tea, lemonade iced, lemonade iced tea, lemonade iced tea, lemonade iced tea, lemonade iced. Play history, be bittersweet. This MAC, that's it. lemonade iced tea, lemonade iced tea, lemonade iced tea, lemonade iced. Yeah, strange fruit.
Wow, Makai is good. I'm about ready to throw $5 at him on. So he's got talent. He's got
Yes,
skills.
he does. And one of the things that I am very impressed by in his words, that he takes a perspective, and something that I wanted him to do, to not try to duplicate Billie Holiday's words, but to take it and make it his own. And he does that. But a surprise for me, and something that I have talked to other people about, he doesn't know how much I talk about him in this whole project, but he talks in his lyrics about Division Street. And you get the image of a Division Street that today has boarded up buildings and so forth. But he is saying at the heart of it that whatever this street may represent to you, it produced a Thurgood Marshall.
A Supreme Court Justice.
Exactly. The first African-American Supreme Court Justice in this nation. And then he says, with emphasis, 1632, which is the house number.
That's
for
Thurgood
Marshall's residence. And so that to me is just so very powerful. Just his making the song his own, his taking what he had learned throughout the tour and in our program and making it his own. So I feel really blessed to get a chance to meet the young people that I meet and know that I have had some impact on their lives.
All right, well, speaking of impact, we're going to take a break so that we can absorb some of this good information. We'll be right back with more.
Joe in the can, and of course we enjoy being a part of your information and funformation network. So remember, treat your friends the best, and you'll have the best of friends. Bye-bye until next time.